shirt with your kid's favorite napkin. Great. I'm gonna need more Tide. My mom gave me that shirt. It's a mess out there. Tide Power Pods.
Have I ever had you in here before?
No, sir.
All right. My chance to ask you questions.
All right. Headphones.
You don't have to have them. Okay, as long as I can hear you. I'm going to make sure you're talking in that microphone. Lamar Wilson, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
Well, let's see here. What are we talking about today? I know what we're talking about, but you got a podcast.
Yes, sir.
What's that all about?
Well, I got into podcasting a few years ago, just playing around on social media, doing some different things, and podcasting seemed like something I wanted to try out. So what I've got is called the Puzzle Piece Media Podcast, and I'm going to break that down into seasons. And the first season I'm calling the Creek Bank Chronicles, looking at the history of and the tradition of Trousdale County football. I know a lot of people, in this area especially, love Trousdale County football, so I figured that was something people would want to hear and hear some stories about.
This starts when?
The first episode of the Creek Bank Chronicles is available today. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you can listen to podcasts, you can hear that. And the first episode is the conversation I had with you yourself. So that is available today for people to listen to.
Yeah, the Maya called me. When did we do that interview?
It's been a few months ago now. I'd have to check the exact dates.
I know it's been a while, but
Yeah.
you said you wanted to talk to me, and I said, how long are we going to talk? And I don't remember. You said 45 minutes?
Yeah, I think we did about 30. That's where I've been trying to keep it between 30 and 45 minutes, and I think we did right at about 30 minutes.
And when we started, I kind of thought to myself, now how are we going to talk that long?
But it starts rolling.
Yeah, it passed away pretty quickly. So I guess who else you going to be talking to?
I'm not going to give everything away right now.
Wait a minute. I need to know these things.
Well, I want people to listen and follow along. But I'll tell you this: the last episode of the season is going to be with now Dr. Satterfield, but around these parts, Coach Clint. That's how I'm going to end it off. And so the episode with you is available now. And next week, I'm going to do a conversation with Wesley Satterfield, who is working his way through the college ranks, former player, son of Clint, obviously, grandson of Jim B.
So when did you put up our interview?
Actually went up this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has anybody listened?
We've had a few listeners so far. I try to stay away from tracking the listens so much because doing any kind of entertainment thing, it's easy to track those numbers and maybe get frustrated if people don't listen as soon as you want them to. But we're doing pretty good. I've done a few episodes so far of just kind of preparing and letting people know what I'm doing, and listens are staying pretty average.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your background.
All right.
You were a basketball guy.
Yes, sir.
We had a team that went to a state tournament back, my goodness, 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago this year.
That you were on that team. You graduated 03. So you were on that team with Mike Potts that went to MTSU, played Memphis Mitchell. And boy.
Yeah, if we could have about 20 minutes of that game back, or I don't even know if it's the full 20. We were up big at the half.
19 maybe.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Okay.
About 19 at half, and I think we lost by about 4 or 5. That second half was meant for them and not us. But I always say that wasn't fair. We were playing against NBA players.
Yes.
Thaddeus Young was on that team, who ended up being a lottery pick a few years later, had a long career in the NBA. But it was a sad way to finish off your basketball career, but it was also fun, too, playing in that state tournament.
Yeah. What if? I guess we'll always.
What if? What could have been?
Ask that question. What other sports do you follow? High school or college or professional?
I'm not a big. I enjoy sports, but I don't necessarily. I don't have any teams
Okay.
that I root for, and I think maybe that comes from not playing a lot of sports in high school. I played baseball and I played basketball, so I enjoy watching NBA games. I enjoy watching NFL games, college football games, but I'm not the guy that knows. I don't know who's playing tonight, for
Right.
example. But if I see the games on, I'll tune in and enjoy it. I guess just because of our age, I sort of lean and root a little bit for LeBron.
Right.
You know, he graduated that same year, so it's been kind of cool to watch him make his mark on the NBA. But I don't really, like I said, I don't know if I follow
Right.
sports, so to speak.
Of course, we've got an NBA team here in Tennessee. It's in Memphis.
Yeah, the Memphis
The
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies. And their series is still going on, I think.
Yes, I
Can you
believe
help
it is.
me?
I believe they are down 3-2 to the Lakers. I believe
Okay. Do they play maybe tonight?
tonight or tomorrow. I believe would be their next game.
Okay. Where would they be? Would they be in Memphis or Inglewood?
I think Memphis has home seed advantage, so if this is game 6, I believe they would be in Inglewood tonight.
Right. They would have to be on the road.
Yeah.
Um, we've got a big Memphis Grizzlies fan here, Sissy Parker. I talked with her last week, and she's got a license plate on the back of her vehicle. It's a Grizzlies license plate, and I think they have season tickets and go quite often.
Okay.
While we're talking sports, I was watching a story this morning when I was eating breakfast. The discussion is about bringing a professional baseball team to Nashville.
Yes. That's been a discussion for a while.
Yes, yes. Of course, we recently saw what the Oakland A's are going to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So some people are saying that might actually help Nashville in getting a professional baseball team. And I've got mixed emotions. I like baseball, I like Major League Baseball, but I'm a preps guy, and anytime there's a professional sport coming to Nashville, it just takes more coverage away from preps. Would you agree?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I never thought about that, but
Sure.
yeah, I mean, a pro team would be the top story most days, and that would take away some coverage from your local schools that you might be talking about otherwise.
Yep. I can remember, of course, Charleston County has made, 9 appearances in state championship. They won, wait a minute, they won 9 state championships. But anyway, I can remember when the Jackets were getting close to a state tournament, state championship appearance, and somebody from a Nashville station would be bringing a camera and a microphone up here to talk to coach and players and such, and that has kind of gone away. You may not see them talking about preps, but I guarantee you're going to see something about the Predators,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to see something about the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we're visiting with Lamar Wilson this morning. We're talking about his podcast, Puzzle
Peace Media.
Piece Media. How'd you come up with that name?
Well, I have 3 boys who have their own, and I hate to use the word struggle, but they're on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And so the puzzle pieces has become a sort of a symbol or logo for people with autism. Just sort of they fit different and trying to, how their brain works. So I wanted to have a name that represented my children.
Right.
And my goal with the podcast is sort of to explore different things in the world, starting with Charleston County football, explore some different things that all sort of fit together like a puzzle to make up the world.
What'd you say, 3 boys?
3 boys.
Ages?
I have 14, 10, and 4.
Okay. The two older boys, are they sports guys?
Oh, the oldest one, he's a musician, much like myself.
Mm-hmm.
He plays the drums over in Mount Juliet High School.
Uh-huh.
He's been doing that since he was old enough to join the band there. He's
Right.
been playing the drums for them. The middle one, the 10-year-old, he's been playing youth football for a few years now. Little defensive tackle, little offensive line,
Uh-huh.
and the little one, the 4-year-old, he just rips and runs as much as he can. Not much organization to it. He's just going.
So the 14-year-old is more of a musician?
Yes.
Now, you said something about you being a musician.
Yes, I did marching band for I guess 6 years here in Trousdale County.
You did?
Yep.
Who would have been your director?
I had a lot of them.
Had several.
Yes. The current director that's here now, Rob Joins, his first year was my senior year. And so we changed quite a bit. We had Randy Brady was here for a few years.
Right.
We had Bruce Cook, who I think he left here, and I want to say maybe went to Father Ryan. And we had Philip Church for a couple of years, and he went on to some different schools. So when I was in band at the time, band directors were changing every couple of years.
Right. It changed several years, and like you just said, Mr. Jones has been here for a while.
Yeah,
like 20 years.
Yeah, 20. I think this is year 20 for him.
Right. What instrument did you play?
I played saxophone.
Okay.
Played the alto saxophone. I wanted to play drums in 5th grade. I think just like everybody did, but they only allowed so many people to play the drums at the time. And so my mom's a big jazz fan. She had Kenny G records playing
Oh, yes.
all the time. So I took up the saxophone.
Wow.
Did that from 5th grade until graduation.
Bill Clinton played a little saxophone.
He did. Played on the Arsenio Hall show.
He did. You still pick up that sax and blow it every now and then?
I have not picked up a saxophone in years. It's just something I kind of faded away from and just haven't had the opportunity to pick back up.
Anybody that can play a musical instrument pretty much amazes me. I can barely play a radio, you know what I'm saying? So, how do you learn to play a saxophone?
I guess the same way you learn it.
How did you learn?
I was just taught by the band directors at the time. It's just, you can kind of relate it to sports. You've got a playbook, so to speak, and they've got, you see all the buttons and stuff on the instruments that you think, what is this? But they print out pictures and, they have diagrams of if you hit this button, it's this note. If you hit these two buttons together, it's this note. And you just kind of repetition and practice. And
So, did you say you want to play a saxophone? Or did they say, Namaya, we need somebody to play a saxophone. Give this a try.
No, I think I volunteered for it when the drums weren't available. I started looking at the other instruments and was like, didn't know much about them, but I knew the saxophone from, like I said, from my mom being a big Kenny G fan.
Uh-huh.
He plays the saxophone. I was like, I'll give that a shot.
Yes. We're busy with Namaya Wilson this morning. We're talking sports, we're talking music, we're talking other things. We're talking about this podcast, Puzzle Piece Media. It's up. What did you say? You put it up this morning?
Yeah, the first episode, and like I said, it's broken down into seasons.
Uh-huh.
And the first season is the Creek Bank Chronicles.
Okay.
Trousdale County football, the home of the Yellow Jackets on the Creek Bank. The first episode with yourself, telling your story and reliving some memories, it's available. Like I said, wherever you can get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts. But it's been a fun time. I've heard some good stories, and you're going to hear some interesting perspectives from different people that have come through this program over the years.
Yeah. I remember you asked me about what were the big games, who were the best players, and gosh, you may have asked me how I got started.
Yeah.
I never intended to be a radio person or a sports announcer. It just happened, and that's the way life is much of the time.
Yeah, you just gotta roll with the punches.
So you're talking about the Creek Bank, and I figure at some point, with you playing basketball and playing for Mike Potts, you'll have to talk to him at some point.
I would like to, and that's the thing. It's, like I said, we did ours a few months ago, and it's just a matter of, people have got jobs and lives and kids and various things. There's lots of people that, I guess on the wish list of people that I would like to talk to, and if I can make that happen, if you're listening and you can put me in touch with various people, I'm very much open to that, to get some more conversations in between now and, like I said, I'm going to end it with a conversation with Clint Satterfield that's already been recorded.
Right.
But I can always add in more episodes along the way.
Probably need to get Chad Evans.
I did talk to Chad Evans.
Good deal.
Yep.
Because NCTC did a story about him a few years ago. Barry Hyde came down and did a story with me that was on NCTC. So you're going to be to basketball, to baseball, you'd have to get Davy Cawthorn on there with you.
Yeah, and I think Davey played a little football too, didn't he?
He did.
Not mistaken.
He did. You think he didn't? You just ask him. He'll tell you.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he'll tell you how good he was.
And to go back to the past, Danny Joe Gregory.
That's a name that I've heard a lot.
That played on the 72 state championship team. Beat Kingston in Kingston the following year, lost to Kingston at Tennessee Tech, one of the coldest football games I've ever been to. But Danny Joe would be an interesting conversation. You going to do anything other than sports?
Yes. Like I said, I'm going to branch this out and do some little bit of everything is sort of my goal. I'm working on another season right now, starting to put it together. When I was in high school, I was a part of an ambassador program called People to People,
Right.
where I traveled to, I did 2 trips to Europe for 3 weeks, and I did a trip to Australia for 3 weeks. And so I'm reaching out to people that I know that have done that and starting to talk to them about their experiences from different parts in America as teenagers, getting to go, overseas and experience different cultures. So, like I said, it's not going to be a strictly sports podcast. It's going to be, my goal is to be a little bit of everything and just sort of people have open minds and open ears and hear some things that they may not know about.
Right. And when I hear those things, John Oliver is who I think.
Yes.
He knows, I guess, more history than anybody here. And he's also done some quite extensive traveling.
Yes.
So you might want to visit with John Oliver, no doubt about it. I'm looking at the text over here I got. Some other things we need to discuss this morning? Are there some other things we need to discuss?
I don't think so, not off the top of my head. Like I said, I'm, glad you had me on and glad to be here. I know when we had the conversation originally, you said when I got ready to put it out to let you know and you'd have me on.
Yeah.
And for me personally, that's one of those things that I'm sort of growing into, is taking those opportunities that people give you. A few years ago, I would have just assumed and taken it that, oh, that's just something people say, he's just being nice, and not reach out to, actually follow up on. So that's, like I said, it's just part of my growth and my journey to be here and try to do what I can.
Good deal. So let's wrap it up. Tell us again what it is and where they can find it, such and so on.
I am Nehemiah Wilson. You can search me on Facebook, Namiah Wilson. You can just find me on Facebook there, and you'll find all the information. But it is Puzzle Piece Media. You can also search that on Facebook, and you can search for that wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, any sort of streaming platforms like that. And if you have a streaming platform and it's not there, reach out and let me know, and I'll do what I can to get it there.
Is this something you can make money with?
The potential is there to make money. I'm just getting my feet wet and trying to establish a base right now, but this stuff with, we talked about technology. The internet it's a big place,
Oh, my
and
goodness,
there's
yeah.
all sorts of opportunities. But right now, I'm just sort of trying to get my feet wet and establish a base, and who knows, maybe I will make some money off of it one day.
That would be good. That would be good. Lamar Wilson, thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
I'll have to pull that thing up and listen to it. See what I said.
See if you can remember. Thank you very much
We
for
may
having
have to
me.
have you back again in the future. Lamar Wilson, thanks so much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back here in just a moment.
When we lose a loved one, how we remember them makes all the difference.
All right.